I was born in a library. I spent most of my life as earning my living as an unqualified library assistant. I retired and I now do voluntary work in a library. And one of my leisure activities is browsing second-hand bookshops. And recently I found a book in there with the title, I Have a Dream. And it was an anthology, and it includes the text of Martin Luther King's fine, inspiring speech about the brotherhood of man, really. Black and white living together. I had a dream. While I was in it, I grew happier every minute. Said, I want to remember this, all of it, the long and the short and the tall of it, and write it down just for the fun of it. But can I remember it? None of it. Alone, not lonely. Memory, a shell-shock rubble. I'm just a sliver of what I could be. I'm not a child or an idiot, just getting old. Too late now to teach me to be good. There's a smell of gas in the cupboard under the stairs, but human anger is the only firework I'm afraid of, at the mistakes I make. Wrong choices, wrong assumptions, clumsy hand movements. Oh, the saucers I've broken. And a fair bit of forgetting. Living with somebody can be lonely. But living with you isn't, because you let me be alone sometimes, and that's lovely. I'm not stupid, and I know you know that. But I can feel my senior moments growing longer, also more frequent, as if they felt lonely, kept apart by lucid intervals, and longed to join hands to form a continuum. The most I can hope for is the least I can hope for. Even so, I can be trusted sometimes. I love you to bits, but part of me is this solitary bastard. And you know instinctively to leave him alone to wander the footloose streets. Alone to write poems like this, which I should let you see before I read them out in public on Valentine's Day. I hope you'll forgive me, you always do, or have done so far. Alone to take a train to Torquay in February, to walk from the station to Kent's Cavern, to buy a ticket for a tour of the caves, to drink black coffee while I wait, to look around and realize I'm the only customer. I look at my ticket. It's number 1. I look out of the window at the wind-driven drizzle, wonder if the caffeine has begun to work. Most likely I'm just happy. The toilets are called cavemen and cavewomen. When I come out, Terry the tour guide is looking for me. Just me and Terry in the caves. He addresses me like a public meeting, and I like it. Stalagmites and stalactites are slow to grow here, he says, and points to a spike that points down from the roof. A hollow tube so fragile a baby could snap it with its finger, he says. He lets me touch with my finger a plastic replica of a tooth that belonged to a bear that died in this cave. He introduces me to a life-size model of William Pengelly, self-taught archaeologist. If it hadn't been for him and excavators like him, we'd have had to crawl the circuit on our stomachs. There's something about William I take to at once. The way he holds his notebook, the tilt of his top hat, the curls of his black beard. How could anyone not want to marry him? Terry picks up a scallop shell and holds it in the palm of his hands. It contains a fire-blackened mass of moss soaked in oil. Prehistoric visitors used animal fat. Then he produces a cigarette lighter, cheating, he says, and a big, bright flame leaps up from the shell. Then he switches off the cave lights. We can see each other, and the walls and floor flicker faintly in the dark. The flame is alive. It is 2 or 3 flames dancing together, separating, merging. Then he blows out the flame to show me how it was for the first Neanderthals to venture in. It must have been in darkness as black as this that human intelligence first awakened. This is the last poem I'm going to read, and I don't think there's anyone after me, so it must be the last poem in the evening, and it's called Dissidence. The average bird is no respecter of your national boundaries. Consider the little egret. Climate change opportunists, they flocked in from the south to patrol our estuary waterline, their figure-hugging feathers whiter than any flag. The first arrivals made bird watchers twitch. Now they outnumber herons. Ask a bunch of little egrets to fill in a form, they only blink at you as if to say, you wait until the dissidents are in power. Gender, age range, total number of attendees with registered disability, ethnic grouping, all left blank white, soft and final as the down on their breasts. All information will be kept confidential and used only for securing funding at the St. Sidwell's Centre. Not impressed. They turn away their sharp spears and crests a-quiver, take off on ghost-white wings, and vanish in the direction of glistening mudflats, their home, to feed, breed, and beautify the furled girdle that tightens round our dying, fallen world. Thank you very much for coming. And a big thanks from all the performers, and I hope the audience too, to Dan the Raptor, who got all this started. Okay, good night.